Look at that. She's something. Hey, yep. That keeps it fun.
All right, you're reading something, but you got a gray screen.
Yes, sir.
It says, where's Jen at? Is that you or is that back in the studio?
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't have my camera on yet.
All right, you might just want to make sure you mute.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'll check Jessica. And it looks like right now we just have one accident on Highway 601 at Leesburg Road. But aside from that, things moving along fairly well this morning. So we do welcome that and hope your morning commute stays that way. As far as your forecast goes, yeah, it's looking pretty nice out there. And it's going to be nice through the weekend overall. We're looking for a high today of about 64, overnight low 47, and then tomorrow 73 for the high, overnight low 61, 78, and 76 is what we're looking at for Friday and Saturday. And actually, I was mistaken. Today it's supposed to be 78. Tomorrow 64. I don't want to confuse you there, but 68 tomorrow, 78 today. Right now we are looking at a lovely temperature, and it is 54 on the early game.
Up and at 'em live from the Players Club, 1626 Main Street in downtown Columbia, where I don't know if I ever foresaw us doing a tour of virtual golf, of indoor golf, Preston and Jen. But here we are, and we've had a lot of fun last week out at Pro Swing, and today here at the Players Club. And this is, again, Jen, you're a former golfer, and today you're going to be a current golfer, along with Brian Glenn, myself, and Preston. But the virtual golf, I mean, I want you to think back for a second. Growing up, where you grew up, golf was not a winter sport, truly not a winter sport.
No.
Down here, we've at least golf has kind of been able to be played during January, December, January, even February on select days. But now you can play it every day because you can just come indoors and experience a little indoor golf. And as I said earlier, the four of us, Brian and myself and Preston and you today, the odds of us losing a golf ball, I guess, are not 0%.
Yeah.
There's some furniture around here, but we should be able to play Spyglass Hill, the back nine today with water and with tall weeds. And thankfully we will play all with maybe the same golf ball.
That would be phenomenal. And I grabbed a golf glove out of my bag because I thought, well, that might help just having golf for a while. Yeah, I'm picking up the pieces. Apparently, it's been a while since I've golfed because it's kind of crumbling now. So I guess I'm not going to use that glove today. So I need to golf more.
We are not the favorites here at this golf tournament today. Again, driving down Main is the event, really fun event put on by our good buddy Murray Coleman and Zach Mintz, and we will have a lot of fun with them today and hang out here. Again, for more information, you can go to the Players Club, or go to playersclubsc.com, and you can check out more about the venue that we are at today. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in if you want to. A little college football discussion this morning. Preston Thorne, Andy Staples has his way too early college football playoff poll out there. This is the second one I've seen. ESPN has one as well. that South Carolina is a part of, but you've seen Andy Staples now college football playoff way too early projection.
Well, apparently when it's Andy Staples, it's not way too early. It's just when he's doing his job. But anyway, looking at this, yeah, the Gamecocks are in the field. And I think that is attributed to a lot of different reasons. But just the idea of the conversation that last year around this time, when we were talking about the inaugural playoffs, the Gamecocks were nowhere near any discussion about being in the field. So it just shows you how somebody who's a tastemaker like Andy Staples has this concept of who he thinks the Gamecocks are. Right now he has them as the 10th seed out of a 12 field, which is interesting because he has the Gamecocks as the 10th seed, but do you know who he has as the number 9 seed? Our arch nemesis.
Mississippi.
Dun,
No.
dun, dun.
Yeah, do we even-
I don't have the hotkey.
Oh, I really wouldn't have guessed this until I now look over and see. Wow. Do you know
Arch
who it is?
nemesis.
Do you want to guess?
We only have one arch nemesis.
New arch nemesis.
Is it the one that we didn't know we needed? Illinois?
That we now have.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Not even looking.
That is correct. Yes, Illinois. Gamecocks are 10th. Illinois is 9th. So I don't know whether he did that to keep us separate for a potential showdown in the finals if we both.
I'll tell you why he did that. He's terrified of Brett Bielema.
Okay.
Brett
Yeah.
Bielema is out here just going scorched earth on anybody and everybody. He's tried to take us down. He's yelling at Jim Harbaugh.
Well, here's an even better part about this playoffs. Not only does he have Illinois in the other bracket, so we might see them in the championship, but Preston Thorne can get his own personal vendetta settled because we has us playing Penn State in the first round. And I would love nothing more than to get Big Game James up out of the paint in the first round of the playoffs.
So let's run through this. This is Andy Staples already projecting. This is on 3, projecting the 12-team playoff. He's got Texas as the 1 seed. Oregon,
yeah, of course, Arch Manning,
Heisman, yeah, well-known Heisman contender, Heisman front runner, the guy who apparently he's going to step on the field and throw beautiful spirals and have beautiful heads of hair, and just he's going to look awesome and incredible. Texas, he's got his number 1. That means they would win the SEC, by the way. Reminder on how you do this. He's got Oregon at number 2. That means they'd win the Big Ten. He has Clemson as number 3, meaning they would win the ACC. By the way, Cade Klubnik getting some Heisman love there. And then he has got BYU winning the Big 12 to get the Big 12 seed. So it would be back to status quo. You would not see Boise State sneaking in. He actually has Tulane getting the non-power 4 bye there. Tulane would be the 12 seed, but he's got Texas winning the SEC. He's got Oregon winning the Big 10, Clemson winning the ACC, and BYU winning the Big 12. Real quick, way too early prognostication thoughts on what Andy Staples has winning each conference.
Yeah, cool. I guess. I mean, I don't know because we don't know how things are going to turn out. I get Andy Staples is the source. He is the trusted expert in the field. So I guess when he says these things, we have to trust it. But who knows? I just think it's very interesting that the Gamecocks are even in this conversation, and that's only built because they have a quarterback, a defensive end, that are highly ranked coming back.
Well, let me give you some more of these because there's a few interesting ones on this. Despite losing 2 coordinators and a bunch of players, he's got Ohio State as the 5 seed. So they would play a first-round game. I believe they would play. Does it not have them playing a first? Oh, yeah, they would play Tulane in the first round, 5-12, Ohio State. The 6th seed, the runner-up, Notre Dame team. But look at who they're playing in their first round game, the 11 seed, the Florida Gators, Billy Napier, DJ Lagway.
Now I'm gonna go ahead and call this. You said that's the Florida Gators. So if we're looking at the teams who are from the SEC in this way too early Andy Staples playoff projection poll, we have the Gamecocks, we have the Florida Gators, we have the Georgia Bulldogs, Texas Longhorns. Who did we not have?
We do not have Kalen DeBoer in Alabama, which means I would have to have another year of eating crow for calling Kalen DeBoer one of the best coaches in college
If Kalen
football.
DeBoer does not make the playoffs, he will be fired.
Do you think?
I think so.
That would be it wouldn't be a shocker. We mentioned that he's got Florida at 11, Georgia at 8, and Illinois at 9.
Yeah, those are all wins for those programs. But the glaring missing A out of here is something that I think just tells you where people think the winds are blowing. So as surprised as I am to see the Gamecocks mentioned in here, I am more surprised not to see that the Crimson Tide in there. And if they're not in there, it could mean trouble.
I would think that they would give Kalen DeBoer one more year, but the ultimatum to like not only get to the playoff, but like be in the championship, there would be something very, very strong there that would be kind of crazy. But you're right. But he does. Who is more fascinating for him to have in there? Number 9, Illinois, or number 11, Florida for you?
Number 9, Illinois. I don't know why they're there.
I don't either.
It just feels like last year was a fluke. I don't know. I didn't see anything.
By the way, on this, he once again, you've got Oregon, you've got Ohio State, you've got Penn State back, and you've got Illinois. He's got 4 SEC, and he's got 4 Big 10 in there. Again, notice, then you got those 4. Then you have Independent, Notre Dame, you have Tulane as the runner-up, and then you've got your Big 12 champion, one bid league, and you got your ACC champion, one bid league.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's interesting, but more importantly, you see the Gamecocks listed here early, so people are taking notice of what we have going on.
I'll give you the ESPN rundown when we come back, and we'll compare that. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, live from the Players Club, 1626 Main Street. It is the early game. Bill Gunner for Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, where it is, of course, the month of love. You can just imagine right now, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But right now, you can just close your eyes and imagine driving off the lot at Love Chevrolet with an overwhelming sense of satisfaction, knowing that you just got the absolute best deal at the absolute best selection with the absolute best sales staff anywhere in the Midlands. Go visit Love Chevrolet. We're 14 acres of brand new Chevys, the $1,000 low price guarantee. And again, that incredible sales staff is going to make you feel the love that Love Chevrolet has for their customers this month. I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. You can visit them on the web as well, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet today, and together, let's drive.
And taking a peek at those traffic conditions out there this morning, things are looking pretty decent. Not only seeing one tie up at this point, 601 at Leesburg Road. So a little extra caution through there. And as far as forecast goes, man, we'll take it. 79 today, lots of sunshine. A little bit cooler tomorrow, only 60. But then Thursday and Friday, 74 and 79. It looks like the weekend ahead looks pretty good. Maybe some evening showers on Sunday, but currently it's pretty nice. Fair skies, 49 on the early game.
.635 as we roll along live again from the Players Club here, 1626 Main Street in downtown Columbia, as we get you up and get you ready for driving down Main Street. It is the United Way's indoor golf tournament that helps sponsor the Midlands Reading Consortium here. Really cool deal, and we'll talk with Murray Coleman again later on this morning more about that and everything it does. But you can also check out the Players Club where we are at. Go to playersclubsc.com. Again, it is an incredible place down here, exceptional golf experience, exclusive networking opportunities, a lot going on, and you can go to their website, playersclubsc.com. for more information on that. And also we'll get you more information on the Midlands United Way and the Midlands United Way Reading Consortium that we are down here for this morning. I'll go back to the college football playoff because that's important. We just went through the On3 Andy Staple projections. I'll get you the ESPN projections. However, as always, if you watch our live stream, go to youtube.com, search the Game TV Radio. You saw Preston have some kind of mini heart attack during the break. And the reason being is because Jen showed us a picture of her carpet and apparently it had a possum running all over it, which freaked out Preston. So I told him to stop talking. I wanted to get to this during the show. Jen, start with your story on what has occurred and why you just freaked Preston out during the break.
I'll try to make it brief. So about 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning, got up and dogs were, getting a little restless, couldn't figure out why. And looked in front of our dresser and I'm like, what? Because I saw it's dark in there and it's like, but I see, looks like mud or something on the carpet. He's like, what have the dogs been doing in the night? And I look, and there's a possum looking back at me in our room. And, so the 3 dogs were actually calm. Usually they go chase those things outside, but they were just kind of having like a stare down. And it took about an hour, but my husband and I got it out. It crawled under, it kind of backed itself under, and it was wet because it had been raining. So it just didn't, the smell was there, a couple of things of blood. So I think when Sophie picked him up and brought him in the house, then we had a little, blood to add to it. It's backed its way under the dresser. So we ended up blocking all sides except one, and we have like a tall laundry basket. So put that at one end, got a towel and a stick to try to keep pushing it one direction, and then it wasn't kind of going that way. So then we shifted focus. Anyway, finally got it down to the other end. And I ended up having to lift the dresser while he finished pushing because he couldn't quite, I think he was just the clearance, maybe, Yeah, so that was pretty awesome.
Ooh, that is, like I said, when you were telling us that story in the break, I didn't expect it to take that turn. I can think about nights that were ruined by just a palmetto bug, where my wife is like, "We're not sleeping, and we're gonna burn the whole house down." But a possum,
they're just the grossest.
Oh, and that's what I'm saying.
things.
They are disgusting. And my dog, rest in peace, Murphy. He thought possums were trophies.
Oh, yes.
He would bring them to be like, "Hey, look what I did for us."
Yes.
And he would frequently put them on the porch. But not in the house. Ooh.
This is the second one she's brought in, but like at night, I just like. So
This
how
was when
long
you
was
said
it?
it was raining outside?
Yeah, it had been raining like Friday into
See,
Saturday.
Which dog? Sophie? Was it
Sophie, yeah.
Yeah, just taking care of the possum. It's raining.
Let
Feels
it
like the
come
possum
inside.
needs a more warm environment to get through the
Cool.
night. What a sweet dog.
Yeah. So, like I said, but then all I could think of is when did the dogs bring that in? Like, how many hours was I sleeping with a possum in the? Mhm. So, yeah, that was
More terrified at first. The possum or Jen? Or Darren?
I mean, the possum definitely traumatized for sure. I mean, he got picked up by a dog and put in a strange place.
yeah.
But also, you're a possum, man. You don't get in me.
No, you don't. No
the
possum passes.
possum might have been looking around like, oh, it's warm in
Okay.
here.
Yeah, there
It's-
was a blanket on the floor for
Yeah,
the dog
like,
next
I've-
to it. So yeah, it was.
feels like I
thrilled.
got some protectors. The dog like didn't eat me. I mean,
Possums, they don't get the benefit of the doubt.
No,
Unfortunately.
and like I said, so I'm nervous. I'm like, just let's call somebody. Like, I didn't want to deal with this. Call somebody. And he's like, no, we can get it. We'll just try to push it down. And he said, if I can't get it, maybe I'll just put on a winter coat and a glove, and I'll just grab it by the tail and throw it out. I was like, dude, okay, go, man. But that's not how I'm playing. Anyway, that was my excitement for
80
Saturday night.
803-404-6100. The thing that your animal or your pet, cat, dog, whatever, has brought into your house that terrified you the most. Send that in this morning. Let's see what pops up. I don't think we've ever had. I've had 2 dogs in my lifetime. I don't think we've ever had an issue with the dog bringing in something from the exterior of the house.
We've had a couple turtles brought in. Piper brought one and put it actually on Darren's pillow.
Oh,
That was nice, but a little something. Some people put mints on pillows.
the Morris family dogs clearly like to gift their owners with
Sorry for the distraction on the college football playoffs.
outside pets. 803-404-6100. Weirdest thing your pet has brought into the house.
Could
We'll
be
get
fun.
to those. I mentioned, so you got the CBS poll. Read those again real quick on what Andy Staples has.
Okay, so Andy Staples has the way too early playoff projected field. And the most interesting part, obviously, I'm not even sure we'd be having this conversation if the Gamecocks weren't in the mix. He has them at a 10th seed, which would be very happy for me because he has us playing Penn State, which would be really, really cool to go ahead and ruin Big Game James's life. More importantly, though, the 9th seed, our newfound nemesis, the Illinois Fighting Illini.
I have 2 hats to burn.
Yes, perfect. You get that done. And also of note to me was that there is notably several SEC teams, last of not least Florida, no Alabama.
So that is, Florida, he's got in there as the 11th seed playing the 6th seed Notre Dame. This is Bill Connolly of ESPN. So we talked about this, the love and excitement that South Carolina would get. I thought maybe if they won the bowl game that they would be getting this. If they lost, I thought that maybe they would fall just outside. They lose the bowl game, they're still getting all of this. So now you've got On3 projecting it. ESPN and Bill Connolly has South Carolina as the 10 seed. However, they would be, reminder, this is a road game on campus. You would go there. In Andy Staples' projection, he's got South Carolina as the 10 seed going on the road to Penn State. Bill Connolly with ESPN has South Carolina as the 10 seed going on the road to Georgia, the 7 seed. Maybe not as exciting. Bill Connolly also has the 11 seed Iowa State on the road at Notre Dame with the winner playing Clemson. He's got Clemson as the 3 seed ACC champion. He's got Boise State making a return appearance as the 12 seed, not getting the bye this time against Penn State. Winner would play Big 12 champion BYU. He's got LSU in instead of Florida. And again, they're playing Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Clemson, BYU get the bye. LSU, Oregon, Boise State, Penn State, Iowa State, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Georgia. Notice there's once again an SEC team missing that we would usually expect from that grouping.
Yeah, and I think that's key insight into how these people are viewing that program. At no point, if you was to think that the previous coach at Alabama, would they not be considered in the playoff field preseason? Just simply because what is this based on? This is based on the coach that you have. This is based on the returning talent that you have. This is based on your recruiting classes, now the transfer portal. So none of those factors into people putting Alabama into consideration, and I think that's troubling if I was an Alabama fan.
We'll
Not
talk.
that this matters, but I would be concerned.
It matters. When you're in it, it matters. When you're out of it, you're like, nah, it's a projection. What do they know? We'll talk with JC Sherbert more about that. But just think about that for a second this morning as you get up and get moving. Did you have on your bingo card for 2025 South Carolina being in two college football playoff projections and Alabama being in 0? Think about that. We'll continue discussing. We'll wrap up hour number 1 when we come back live from the Players Club here, 1626 Main Street. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air, where I'm telling you now, don't wait until it's too late and we're in the high 90s, even the low 100s, and now your air conditioner is going out. Take advantage of what AAA Heating and Air are doing today. Give them a phone call, 803-677-1500. Again, that's 803-677-1500. Tell them, make sure you tell them Bill Gunner sent you. At AAA Heating and Air right now, you can get no interest and no payments for a full 12 months. Trust me, about 2 years ago, this is exactly what I did. Had a brand new heating and air unit installed at the house. And not only was AAA Heating and Air extremely professional, they explained the way it would help save money. They talked about how it would help enhance the heating and air in the house, and it certainly has done that, but it was an extremely professional process. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Tell them you heard it here with Bill Gunner on 107.5 The Game. Last night, I couldn't get into it. I tried. Oh, boy, did I try. Opening night of the Super Bowl, Preston Thorne. Opening night last night down in New Orleans, where I did read, by the way, Super Bowl ticket prices, a couple different reasons, but Super Bowl ticket prices lower than they have been over the last several years, attributed to a couple things. One, Chiefs fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the Caesars Superdome seats 74,000. By the way, it's way below what it was. The prices are way below what it was last year. And the second fact is one of the reasons last year at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, number one, it was Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
but had 64,000 seats. The Superdome has 74,000 seats, so 10,000 more seats. Obviously, supply and demand there. But also the unfortunate recent event there in New Orleans, the act of terrorism. But again, Chiefs fatigue, all this. And so last night, trying to get into opening night, a little more difficult, even more difficult than trying to get into the Super Bowl itself.
Opening night of the media night?
Yes. Yeah.
Has that something you've ever been into?
So I've heard, to answer your question, it's the old media. What was it? What did they used to call it? I've never been to a Super Bowl. I've never covered a Super Bowl.
Media
I've never
day?
been to, yeah, it's the old media day where, people ask the stupid questions and it's the stupid event.
Like what we would ask.
Yeah, it literally it is for the goofy and the not serious. And so last night you had the stupid stuff. The Eagles went first. And then, of course, afterwards, you had the grouping of Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid. And they televise it. By the way, they go around. Travis Kelsey last night talking Taylor Swift.
Well, yeah. So goes into my idea of like, it was a big thing because it was not televised, and you would just get the highlights of what the clips were, what the cool things that were happening, or you would get some of the more outrageous questions. But now when you televise the whole thing, of course there's going to be some down spots and some pleas on that. So I don't know what that means. Also, the idea of Chiefs fatigue, people might say that, but also when the numbers that were reported that the last AFC game was like the third highest viewed game, period, for the playoffs. So people say they're tired of the Chiefs, but we're still watching them.
Okay.
So we're here for the Chiefs.
Okay. All right. Last night, Patrick Mahomes from the state of Texas and a reported Dallas Maverick fan also was asked about the Luka Doncic trade. One of the things that he said is that Mahomes has been watching Doncic since he was 18 years old. Mahomes said, I remember going to practice, and it was Dirk and Luka, and seeing his maturation and how great of a basketball player he has become. It's been fun to watch. As a Dallas fan, it hurts. I'm happy for him that he's going to be able to go out there and be in LA and try to achieve his dream of winning a championship. He did so much. So this is the kind of stuff you get at you get Travis Kelsey talking about Taylor Swift, Patrick Mahomes talking about Luka Doncic. One thing I have not seen, though, is any discussion on the Super Bowl halftime act, Kendrick Lamar.
As I stated yesterday, one of my favorite things is anybody who has lived up to the promise. I talked about it with Asia Wilson, talked about it with Serena Williams, Bryce Harper, these people that we've known about forever. And Kendrick Lamar squarely fits into that category. Kendrick Lamar was supposed to be the golden child coming out of the West Coast. He gets he gets crowned by Dr. Dre as the next person to take over the West Coast realm in hip hop. And since 2010, he has consistently delivered on every single premise that he was promised. So he's delivered classic albums. He's delivered classic moments. He's delivered live performances. He's done every single thing. Now, this particular pick for the halftime show is a really interesting pick because obviously he's had a tremendous year, topping it off with 5 Grammy nominations and wins. But he has been consistently performing at extremely high levels in music since he came on the scene. And so I put Kendrick Lamar, if we was to take that same sports analogy, I'd say Kendrick Lamar, Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, people who were young and they have performed at high levels throughout their whole career. They have delivered on their promise of that. So Kendrick Lamar, if you don't remember, Kendrick Lamar was the first halftime performer for the college football playoff. He was the first halftime playoff performer. He has been bubbling on the underground. And it's really interesting with Kendrick because he's the most famous non-famous person.
I'm with you on that.
He's the
Okay.
most famous non-famous person. He's a huge star, but he's not as a pop star like Bruno Mars or somebody along those levels. But his accolades put him on there, whether it's Grammys, writing awards, sales. He's done everything. But I think this is going to be people are going to be very surprised at Kendrick Lamar's performance. I have no doubt that Kendrick Lamar's performance will be one of the best performances just because of the showman that he is. But it's not going to be the same as Usher because everybody's not as familiar with Kendrick's music. It's not going to be the same as Rihanna because everybody's not familiar. Because honestly, Kendrick Lamar's music sometimes can be kind of heavy, kind of dark sometimes, and he's more experimental. He's not a pop artist, but he's a huge artist. And so I'm just telling everybody, watch out. I will be breaking this down throughout the week. We're getting us ready for the Kendrick Lamar performance, but he is the person for this moment.
We'll continue on with this. We might have to check into this video as well. Jameis Winston was a reporter last night.
Yeah, I saw some highlights.
Kendrick Lamar too. Yeah, we'll have a complete breakdown on the halftime show later on this week. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Hey, they say perfection is a journey, and our journey led us to Carolina Stone Craftsman just outside Columbia in Chapin. We had some cabinetry that needed to be replaced. Got that done thanks to CHW, but then we ended up needing a countertop, obviously, to put on top of those cabinets. So what did? We called Carolina Stone Craftsman, checked out their showroom. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Affordable marble, granite, and quartz. They educated us as far as what we might need, what might be best for the bathrooms that we were looking to get those cabinets or countertops put in. Every step of the process was great, from visiting the showroom, selecting the granite, installation process so smooth, and that's the reason we return to them again. If you are in the market for any kind of countertops for your kitchen or bath, I do encourage you to reach out to Carolina Stone Craftsman, and of course be sure to tell them that Jen Jensen sent you. Carolina Stone Craftsman, just beyond Columbia and Chapin and beyond your expectations. CarolinaStoneCraftsman.com. And out there on the highways this morning, we are looking at a couple of incidences. And where are they? I will tell you right now. Gadsden Street near Hampton Street, kind of right there at Taylor and Arsenal Hill is a report of an accident. Also 601 near Leesburg Road. We do have a report of an accident there, so be careful if you would. Hopefully those get cleared up. You have a good morning as far as getting into work and school. 79 for the high today, overnight low of 50, 60 tomorrow, 74 on Thursday, 79 on Friday. We stay in the 70s, mid 70s throughout the weekend, maybe some evening showers on Sunday night. We won't even talk about next week because then we're going to get back into like the 50s and potentially even 40s. So let's enjoy this week while we can. Right now, 49 on the early game.
Yeah, they're supposed to have new stuff. 7 a.m. as we get you up and get you going. Jen Jensen, Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, live from the Players Club, 1626 Main Street here in Columbia, where once again we get you up and we get you going, ready for a great event today by the United Way of the Midlands. It is driving down Main Street. It is always a blast. It is their indoor golf tournament, a 2-day event. Always, again, glad to be a part of this. It goes to benefit the Midlands Reading Consortium, which is a phenomenal organization, something that, again, I know is very near and dear to Preston's heart because of what y'all do, you and Langston in particular. And Jen, I know you were moving around earlier, but we always forget to mention, and maybe we should put it in an opener. Every morning we get to work with an all-state baseball selection. We forget about that sometimes. Every morning we get to work with a former South Carolina defensive lineman who also played for Lou Holtz. I feel like that should be added in there somewhere just to remind people.
Should get a star.
But most importantly, every morning we work with a published author, a 3-time published author. So I know that reading for the kids is something, again, that's near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, and it is especially important for everybody because we know how literacy is the foundation for everything that anybody wants to do. And so literacy helps build our children's futures and give them capacity to do the things that we want to do. And as we always tell to the parents, if your kids can read, eventually they will get out of your house and get out of your pockets. So you want to make sure your kids can read so that soon they can do things for you instead of you doing things for them the whole time.
Well, we appreciate you working with Bill to try to get him to read better. So we're getting there.
We're working on it.
Reading is not the problem, it's speaking.
Yes.
The reading I've got down cold. It's the use of the English language and pronunciation of some specific things that tend to get me.
Got a big word, sir.
Yeah. But I'm improving, and that is where Preston is there to help me. But yeah, we're down here driving down Main for the kids. Again, it's the 7th annual Driving Down Main virtual golf tournament sponsored by Enterprise Rent-A-Car here at the Players Club. And again, you can go to their website, playersclubsc.com, to learn more information. Myself, Preston, Jen, and the one and only Brian Glenn of Village Idiot will be joining us later on today as our foursome will take to the mats, and we will see if we are good enough to get an invite to tomorrow's golf league. Do have some of that on tonight, but it'll be a lot of fun, and we will be a part of it playing Spyglass Hill, the back nine at Pebble Beach, and we'll continue to tell you about the fun that we're having here throughout the day. Again, live from the Players Club. For more information, go to their website, playersclubsc.com, and learn more about the exclusive indoor golf experience. Joining us now, as he does each and every week on a Tuesday, to talk a little Gamecock football, a little what else is going on, the one and only JC Sherbert of thebigspur.com. And JC, you and I played golf once. it didn't go well, and that was the last time we played golf.
Well, yeah, that was all me, brother. I was terrible, and I hadn't picked up a club, I think, since back then. I'm going to find my way back to it eventually. I got two things. First of all, shout out to whoever did the production on this segment.
Yeah.
It was really good to hear my name. Number two, did Jen say it was 79 degrees in Columbia today?
It will be. Come on down.
Time to come home, buddy.
That's
Time to come
why,
home.
that's another reason. When I come back, I'm going to pick up golf because it's February 4th, people.
Yes.
I mean, 79?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bring it on home.
Jen knows what I'm talking about. She's
Oh.
in Illinois.
I'm flying up there tomorrow,
It's a
so
it's a
yeah,
balmy
I'll suffer with
It's
you.
a balmy 28 this morning.
Ugh.
Balmy. It's much warm.
Yeah.
It's a warm morning. It's 28. It's not going to get above 30.
Ugh, no.
Stupid cold.
And listen, but that's the thing, and maybe that's where when you come back down, even though you can be outside, a little indoor golf is the absolute best thing for you
Yeah.
because again today the four of us are going to play. You're familiar with Brian Glenn, and the four of us are going to
Yeah.
play. We may use the same golf ball. The four of us will combine to lose 0 golf balls. I would assume. I'm hoping. I've got faith in us.
Good
Even though
Lord.
there's furniture around here, there's some beautiful leather couches that the golf ball could go up underneath, and we could have a whole issue. But I'm of the belief I'm going to hold that my team today will not lose a golf ball. We might not win the tournament, but I can promise you this. Nobody will get bit by a snake. Nobody will deal with ants or gnats or mosquitoes
Or possums.
or possums. Oh, by the way, definitely, JC, we'll have to circle back to Jen's possum story. But Jeff has weighed in this morning and says, I have proof we're in the Matrix. Driving through Jenkinsville, stop sign by the post office, and a possum walks out right as you finish the story.
Oh, ew.
Yeah, JC, we'll circle back to the possum story of Jen, whose dog Sophie felt the need to get the possum out of the rain one night, bring it into the bedroom so it could sleep comfortably on the blankets in the bedroom with Jen, her husband, and the other dogs.
Lord.
Carpet's
Lord
being
have
cleaned later today.
So, nonetheless, we got a lot to get to with you this hour. We've got some college football playoff projections. We're going to take it down a couple of different paths. Andy Staples has put his projection. ESPN has a projection. Both feature South Carolina in it. We're going to talk about that. South Carolina picked up a commitment also from a preferred walk-on. It is crazy to think, JC, this is sad. Real quick, Preston, I don't know if you realize this because it didn't dawn on me until I just started talking about this. JC's nostalgia creeping in. You know what tomorrow should be. All right, and I think it still technically is. Yeah.
Yeah. Signing day. It's like the Myrtle Beach Pavilion. It's no longer there. But we have great memories, and every time you drive past the Myrtle Beach Pavilion and the vacant lot and the bungee jumping and all that that exists there, you have great memories of that skeleton fun house and the corkscrew and the wooden one that replaced the corkscrew. And I went on a deep dive and found that the corkscrew roller coaster that used to be at the Pavilion, and before that it was at a place called Magic Harbor, Myrtle Beach. It's down in like Ecuador at an amusement park now, still rolling. So it's still alive somewhere. But yeah, that's how signing day is, man, because Bill, we talk about this all the time back when we were in the game, so to speak. This was the busiest month, and by God, or January was, and it kind of terminated at this point, but you look at the numbers on websites, listen to podcasts, audience, all that good stuff. It was peak in January. Now it's a dead month. It's almost like June or July. And so it's changed dramatically. On JC and Morgan later today, we're talking to Tom Luganville, who's actually in Bristol for a signing day special. And I'm like, I wonder what they're going to talk about. I mean, there's no drama. I guess it's basically breaking down classes and transfer portal and all that. But things certainly have changed and changed quickly.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about this, Preston. And you kind of hit it right there a little bit. Preston needs kind of a flow chart of where we are with now recruiting cycles, because as I said to start the program, it is a dead period right now because of signing days technically being tomorrow. But you start to gear up this month for the signing day run, or excuse me, the recruiting run that really is spring practice of March, spring games of April, official visits of June, official visits of July, and then that leads us into preseason practice and everything. So May is a little bit of a dead period, but the 4 months I just mentioned are really now the crux of and the months of football recruiting. And JC, you agree with that?
Oh yeah, most of the hay is in the barn by the time the season starts, which in some ways is a good thing. Now, sometimes at Carolina, sometimes it's been where, like this past class, they still had some folks to get, and so during the season and on into December there was activity, but like the 2024 class was kind of almost all the way done, until the end. There's been some folks that have waited late, like Nick Harbor a couple of years ago, and we're all familiar with the Jordan Burks saga back in 19 and 20. But it certainly is different. And you're right. Almost every day, a new player sets up a June official visit at South Carolina. So, or late May. So it's been it's just a different calendar now, which is good because now like June is a busy month for recruiting. It's like January used to be. It's just not the mad dash. and then what I found too, guys, is the commitment after June official. The commitments tend to trickle in starting around the 4th of July. That used to be kind of a dead period where you could literally take off and forget about it for a while. But now that's a pretty big time as well.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And by the way, Preston, just in case you want to feel old now, to set up your official visit, you do need a graphic of yourself standing there with the team's uniform with the date of when you're going to take your official visit. That way everybody knows when they see it on Instagram or X or whatever social media product you want to use to make sure everybody knows where you'll be that particular weekend in June.
I like it. I'm all for it. Take more pictures, put more dates out. I get all that. I just don't know when everything is happening in this. Different classes, the classes are blending. Some people are from 2 classes from now. Then you have people that are decommitting that are only sophomores. JC, I just need a big poster with arrows, bold print signs, colors, just so I can know. Make it like red, yellow, and green. Green is the hot month. Things are happening here. Red is not as much. I just need a flow chart.
Okay.
A flow chart, heat map. All
there
those
you go.
Happy things, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, fair. And look, it's if I didn't live it, if it wasn't like the crux of what I do, I would be confused. So, and then you have the portal, and that's something everybody's getting used to as well. I mean, I feel bad sometimes for my readers and members of the BigSpur.com because college football fans are not creatures that love change. It's like very. Like I've said this before, we'll change the color of the font on the message board or change the format. And for 3 days, it's nothing but I quit. I'm not doing this anymore. This sucks, blah, blah, blah. And then their eyes adjust, which is natural. And we don't ever hear about it again. So, but fans in general of college football are creatures of habit. And I feel bad for them because things are just so different now. And, like I said, ESPN's still running the signing day special. I'd probably consider moving that back to December if I were them. I think they do something in December, but it certainly is is not the same as it was, and I agree. I think so. I think we should come up with a flow chart. Just put it on like recruiting.com or something and say, all right, everybody go here. You need a reminder. It's like the quad system with the net rankings. I never can quite remember the numbers when I'm thinking about it and all that good stuff. So you really need a point of reference.
803-404-6100. If you want to text in this hour with anything, we'll get to a few questions for JC. But coming up next, South Carolina is in some projections for next year's college football playoff. JC, I'm going to ask you, because of what we just talked about, it's recruiting season. What does Shane Beamer do with those? Because think about this. Isn't it nice if you're hosting some junior days or if you got some official visits and you're like, hey, You see Andy Staples' projection for next year's playoff. We're in it. You can come be a part of the program. You want to commit and be a part of that? We'll talk about how JC sees that, and we'll also talk about his thoughts on these way too early Andy Staples projections. I don't know if Josh Pate has one out there just yet. I know Bill Connolly with ESPN has one. So we'll get into all of that. JC Sherbert joining us this morning at thebigspur.com as he does each and every Tuesday. And again, we are live from the Players Club here for the United Ways Driving Down Main Street virtual golf tournament, 7th annual virtual golf tournament. We'll keep you updated on that as well. You're listening to the early game.
Preston here for our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, that's no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with the insurance company to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to wherever you are, school, home, work. It does not matter. Absolute Glass will take care of it for you. Now, if you're at home, you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows or mirrors, Absolute Glass will take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. They say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at absoluteglassinc.com. That's online at absoluteglassinc.com.
Well, we things have picked up on the highways for sure. Right there, Beltline Boulevard near Main Street. There's a crash involving a train, and so you're gonna probably want to avoid that area while you can. So it's kind of Phillips at Sunset, right there by the railroad tracks. Obviously, a crash involving a train. Also, Highway 601 between Leesburg Road and Screaming Eagle Road. There is a rollover accident involving a semi. So going to want to avoid that area if you can. 2 other accidents to let you know about: Fernandina Road at Piney Grove Road and Gadsden near Hampton Street. Looking for a high today of 79. Yes, JC, 79. Overnight low of 50. 60 tomorrow, 74 on Thursday. We stay in the 70s throughout the weekend. Right now, it's 49 on the early game.
$7:20 on your Tuesday morning, February the 4th. 2 days removed from Groundhog Day, where today, as you heard Jen say, it'll be 79 degrees, despite the fact that General Beauregard Lee and Punxsutawney Phil both said 6 more weeks of winter. We're just going to ignore that. We're going to have the weather. I think next week goes back down, and unfortunately,
50s.
Unfortunately, while not a groundhog, Jamie Bradford did call this, I think.
Yeah, he did.
Not a groundhog, but Jamie Bradford did call for baseball opening day. Cold, rainy, maybe ice and sleet, and it's not supposed to be nice.
Yeah,
next
let's not.
week. Yeah, not fun. Again, we are live from the Players Club, 1626 Main Street here in Columbia, where you can come and hang out. Visit them on the web, playersclubsc.com, and get more information. Again, absolutely phenomenal destination for both exceptional golf experiences, but also for exclusive networking opportunities. The amenities here allow members of all skill levels. You could be like JC and Preston. You could be like Jen and I, or you could be like a Roy McIlroy, who just won the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. All skill levels to grow their games in a comfortable private setting. They got a full bar, a lounge. It's a perfect place to influence connections and networking amongst members. So you can actually schedule a tour and check them out today. Go to their website, playersclubsc.com. And why are we here today? Well, of course, we are here because of the Midlands United Way. That's right, the United Way of the Midlands and their Driving Down Main Street golf tournament that we'll continue to tell you more about as we roll through the morning. But joined as always on a Tuesday morning by JC Sherbert of thebigspur.com. And JC, let's talk college football playoff. Let me ask you, a year and a half ago, I don't remember exactly when Nick Saban shocked the college football world, so I will just say a year ago, on your bingo card, did you have, going into 2025, South Carolina being listed on 2 different college football playoff way too early projections, and Alabama not being in those projections?
No, but life comes at you fast, right? It
Thanks,
goes
Bueller.
up, it goes.
Bueller.
Things go up and goes down. What did I Bueller? What? I don't know. You threw me off, Jen. Gosh.
I'm so
No.
sorry. Well, you said life comes at you pretty fast. I mean, that's straight from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to process that. That's the first time. I was like, oh man,
Sorry.
I'm the king of throwing that in. Good job. Anyway, no, I did I see it? No, I necessarily, but they're just projections. And the last time South Carolina was projected to be in a college football playoff was the first year. I think Greg McElroy picked them together the 14. It was a legit thing. Carolina was ranked 9th in the country in the preseason, and they had the worst defense I think I've ever seen for a long while that year, and finished 7-6. And so it's with one of the best offenses I've ever seen at South Carolina. So, you got to be careful with preseason predictions and things like that. I will say this: since Steve Spurrier left the program, it's been challenging. It's challenging for a lot of even big name brand schools guys to get oxygen in college football. Alabama, who you mentioned, sucked a lot of the oxygen out. The 14 playoffs, because you're dealing with just 4 teams, sucked even more of it out. And South Carolina losing a coach that everybody wants to hear and listen to, that caused a relevancy issue, and not to mention Clemson and Georgia's rise to national prominence regionally. So I think anything that the Gamecocks get, as far as national pub goes, attention, this year, I think that all helps your visibility, relevancy, along with, Shane Beamer does all kinds of interviews. He's out there front and center, and they do a great job of pushing it that way. The fans deserve a lot of credit, because when there's a chance for a big national TV spotlight, the stadium's rocking and packed and everybody talks about it. This program's really kind of had to pull itself up by the bootstraps in order to get to that relevance. Why does that matter? Because in college football, even with the transfer portal and NIL money and everything else, the way you acquire talent is based largely on perception. And frankly, with the way the college football committee picked the daggum playoff and some of the decisions they make, I think relevancy still matters as far as getting to the postseason. So in this sport, it matters. And it was a struggle. And so anything you can get like that now, where you see South Carolina mentioned among the best programs in the country, best teams in the country next year, is a positive. But you just have to be, you have to be careful to beat those expectations when the rubber hits the road here in late August coming up.
We are entering now a dead period for recruiting. It'll go for the month of February. Things will kick back into gear at the beginning of March. I believe it's around March 3rd or 5th that things really get going. And then obviously you've got spring practice where you can host unofficial visitors. You get the spring game where you can host unofficial visitors and make a big deal out of it. I don't know if we asked you this, but real quick, your thoughts on South Carolina having a Friday night spring game in April as opposed to the more traditional Saturday game and I'm asking this from a recruiting purposes standpoint.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it was on the show or another one where we're talking about it, but I think it is about recruiting. There's so many spring games and they're all bigger recruiting events at different schools. When you have it on a Friday night, maybe you can get some guys that maybe you wouldn't normally get if they had already promised another school they would come in for their spring game. You can get them on a Friday and then a Saturday, all that good stuff. These games, it got to be for a while where ESPNU or the SEC network would televise all of them. They don't do that anymore. It's all streamed. You can see it, but it's streamed. And so, I can't imagine TV decided that, but it's one of those things where I think probably a strategic recruiting plan, that's what these things are these days and all that. I'm just kind of wondering about the baseball game that weekend because I believe I'm going to be in town. And so I'm trying to wonder how I can make both. That's what I'm sitting here contemplating. But I do think strategically, to get more bang for your buck, more players on campus, more players exposed, that Friday night gives you kind of that exclusive window. Same concept as moving the Clemson game to Friday or playing Virginia Tech on a Sunday. I guess it's going to be in the afternoon since they scheduled another game that day with Notre Dame and Miami at night. But still, that's a exclusive national television window. And again, there's that perception and exposure element of it that is important in the sport.
803-404-6100. Signing day supposed to be tomorrow. South Carolina did get some signing day news yesterday. We'll get JC's take on Jackson Rep and his commitment, kind of what that means. Another wide receiver out of the upstate who will come in as a preferred walk-on, but we'll talk about that a little bit and get into a few other recruiting little tidbits and talk a little basketball as well. Basketball and NIL. That's been a hot topic, Preston, of late with South Carolina and what Lamont Paris may have to do in the transfer portal. We'll just get JC's take on the NIL situation with basketball and what maybe also Jeremiah Donati said on our radio program, not our radio program, but I guess our radio station with Jay and Elijah a week ago about working with Lamont Paris for NIL money. So we'll get JC's take on all that as we roll along live from the Players Club for the 7th annual Driving Down Main Street virtual golf tournament. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, joined as always on a Tuesday by JC Sherbert. It is the early game.
Are you tired of dealing with pain? Are you looking for a solution that doesn't involve surgery, drugs, big expenses, or long recovery times? Well, let me tell you about Shockwave Therapy, available now at QC Kinetics. Shockwave Therapy is an evidence-based, non-invasive treatment that stimulates your body's natural healing processes. It works by increasing circulation to the affected areas and promoting cellular repair. The best part, there's no surgery, no drugs, and absolutely no downtime. Athletes have trusted this advanced technology for years. So whether you're recovering from an injury or simply looking to enhance your healing, Shockwave Therapy could be the game-changing solution that you've been waiting for. So don't wait. Schedule your free consultation today. Don't let pain hold you back any longer. Call QC Kinetics at 803-281-6860. That's 803-281-6860.
And things have gotten a little bit busy in a few areas this morning. There, Beltline Boulevard near Main Street, there is a crash involving a train. So going to have to find an alternate route in that area. Again, that's Beltline Boulevard around Main Street, a train incident. Also, we have Highway 601 between Leesburg Road and Screaming Eagle Road, and an accident there, rollover semi. Highway 6 near Main Street, an accident. Also, Juniper Springs Road near Two Notch. And Broad River Road near Beatty Road, an accident reported. So do be careful out there this morning, please. We have a great forecast on the way. 79 for that high, 60 tomorrow, 74 on Thursday. It is 49 right now in the early game.
There you go. There's one for you, Jen. My dog never brought in an animal in the house, but she loved to roll in rotten duck eggs.
And then bring that in. Yummy. Ew.
Yeah, it's not good. Another texter weighs in. How about the guy that let his dog let a wolf in his house, and the wolf was laying on the bed? Not sure I read about that one.
No.
If you didn't hear, we'll get back to Jen's possum story, where Sophie, the Morse family dog, thought it would be neat to bring a possum in. I give Sophie credit. Sophie might be the most loving family member of the Morse household. If she saw a possum and was like, hey, it's raining outside, we have a warm house, we got blankets for you upstairs.
Yeah.
Why don't you come on in and hang out? Mom, Dad won't mind it, only for the mom to wake up and see a possum staring back at her, mom being Jen and Dad being Darren, and then at 3 a.m., by the way, JC, this possum story occurred at 3 a.m. Not sure if Red ever brought another living animal into the house to hang out with the family.
No, he's got an ongoing war. I just let him outside. We have a shed or a tiny building in our backyard. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to do carpentry work and make it into a bar, but maybe a podcast studio. But right now, it's got a bunch of equipment in it, but there's a family of bunnies under there. He goes to war with the bunnies every day. One day, the bunny took off. He panicked, and Red, he sprinted through the yard. Red couldn't catch him. Red's old. He's 12 years old. So he made it about halfway and then gave up. But then one day, my stepson came in and was like, Red killed some bunnies decapitated. And we went out there and we're like, well, there's no way he could do that. His teeth's not that sharp. There's no way he decapitated two bunnies. He couldn't catch them. And come to find out, it was an owl.
Oh, dear.
That scooped in and they eat the heads off of the bunnies. I know that's kind of not what somebody wants to hear in the morning, so I'll shut up. But
breakfast.
So I've had that. But yeah, it was wow. Crazy. I was like, an owl. And then I started thinking about The Secret of NIMH. You guys remember that one? Remember owls eat? Never mind. It was. I'm going back to my childhood now. I need to save that for my show later because, like y'all's show, we kind of go off the rails sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll say that. The Secret of NIMH.
Possums in Jen's bedroom at 3 a.m. is definitely going down
not a good
that's
time
not the way.
Possum experience, in my opinion.
No.
No, not fun. So we've asked you this morning, 803-404-6100. You can text in anything your pets have brought into the house that was a pleasant surprise, if you will, that you woke up to or discovered in your household. 803-404-6100. Tomorrow is supposed to be signing day. JC, I guess technically it still is signing day. I guess it's just there's very few signings. Am I correct on that? There's still technically signing day.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, ESPN's rolling with a show, and I guess there's a few. I need to really go through and look and see who's unsigned. I've been so South Carolina focused for the past month. I haven't looked around to see, who I guess is out there that's a big name. But
well, let me ask you real.
Signed.
Let me ask you this: is Donovan Murph officially signed? Did he sign back in the early period and announce at the I believe it was the Under Armour game? So is he is officially a part of the class? We will not be having a signing ceremony.
They released. I'm pretty sure they released something on him. I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that. But now he's having something at his school, a signing ceremony. You know, they don't even really sign letters of intent anymore. They did away with that. It's more of just an agreement with the school. So I'm assuming he did, but you know, we'll see. He enrolls in May or June, so that's it. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm scrolling through the top 100 on 24/7 Sports. There is a guy, a tackle, Ty Haywood, out of Texas, that isn't committed. He's number 42 overall. Michigan, Florida State. I can't really find anybody else. So, yeah, not many people are waiting these days.
Different than your days, Preston Thorne. You remember the day before signing day for you? Was it a huge day? Was it a nonchalant day? Was it?
Yeah, I don't remember. That was so long ago, man. If you think about how that's a quarter century ago, sir. I don't remember what I was doing on a random. I remember what I was doing on a random Tuesday, 2000. Nah, probably not much.
Not taking more calls from other coaches at the last minute trying to flip you.
My recruitment wasn't quite like that. It's probably cutting school, going to Tasty Freeze, more than likely. If you had to take a bet of what I was doing on that day before, more than likely that was it.
JC, South Carolina does. This is an interesting situation. Jackson Rep commits to the University of South Carolina. Now, Jackson Rep, correct me if I'm wrong, had been offered an actual scholarship in the receiving class, but suffered a significant injury this year, torn ACL. He's out of Christ School in the upstate in Greenville, 5'8", 165 pounds. But this is a young man that caught coach's attention because of his speed. What is this for South Carolina? Because I guess this is kind of the one signing or whatever you want to call it. He is, by the way, coming in as a preferred walk-on, not a scholarship player. Yeah. But your take on this, adding him to the wide receiving room?
Yeah, there's going to be less preferred walk-ons now with the new roster limitations or whatever. I like him. I think he's got a chance. You know, very fast, quick. One of those guys that's kind of hard to guard, good route runner, also blazing speed, you know, out of Christ Church, which is a private school, but they compete in SCHA, South Carolina High School League. They're not SCISA. Christ Church competes with the public high schools. Not that that's a big deal, but you know, if you're looking for level of competition, it's a step up from SCISA, in my opinion. But good player. They loved him in camp. As far as did they offer him like a scholarship and then rescind it or anything like that? I think it was more like a verbal offer. You know, and then as time moves on, you know, you have to make decisions, especially with the crunch at the roster. But he's a player that I think, you know, get him in there, get him healthy. He's got a shot. You know, I think he's a good football player. And, you know, those guys, you know, they sometimes will surprise you, even if there's that walk-on label attached. You know, we all remember Hunter Renfro, and we all remember other walk-on receivers, you know, Carolina, like Chris Clark out of Lexington, out of your neck of the woods, ended up being a good player as a walk-on receiver. I think Peyton Mankrum had a good run here. He's just going where he can play. Eric Rice, who's on the roster now, was a walk-on, and I think he's actually been pretty good in a backup role. And Eric Kimry actually told me that he thought that kid would be a pretty good player. So there's precedent there, and certainly I think I'm actually kind of fired up that Carolina's getting him, because I do think he's got some ability and some upside.
Preston, quickly, you're watching his highlights like I am. What are you seeing? These are his junior highlights, again, with Christ School.
See somebody he seems explosive. He looks like he's a slot type of guy, a dude that can catch the ball and make plays with the ball after he catches the yak. You know, the yards after the catch, it seems like that's some big part of his game. And I would just encourage fans, when you see obviously he's diminutive, he's 5'8", he's not going to be a huge guy, but that doesn't have a lot to do with making plays, especially in that position. It seems to remind me of a guy that I think South Carolina just offered the wide receiver out of Somerville, JC, who's another guy in this mold.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we actually have any dudes in the receiver room right now who sort of fulfill that role. Am I missing somebody that we have that's kind of the quick slot guy in the room right now?
I think Lex Cyrus, who got out of Pennsylvania, beat Penn State on him, could be a guy like that. He's more of a straight line speed guy, but he is quick. Jared Brown, allegedly, he's got some of those tools. Was it Corey Alexander? Who
Yes.
was the player that played for Holtz? That was he
Corey-
was kind
it
of
was-
a running back. Was that Corey
Yep.
Alexander? Was that his name? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Jackson kind of reminds me of him in a lot of ways, you know. And I didn't play with him, so he was probably taller than 5'8", I would guess. But that's the kind of skill set I think Jackson Rep brings to the table.
We'll wrap up hour number 2 with JC Shurburtt, thebigspur.com, when we return live from the Players Club, 1626 Main Street here in Lexington. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years, Mid-State Roofing has been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry, and it's that proven history that is your assurance that they will get the job done in a timely and safe manner to make sure that operation of yours, home or business, stays dry and running long into the future. So if you're looking for the proper advice, the proper service, and the proper results that you need for your home or your business to keep your roof intact and ready to handle the heavy winds and rain of spring, call Mid-State Roofing today. 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mid-State Roofing is there and ready to help you with a maintenance contract. Call today and tell them Bill Gunner sent you. 803-356-1919. Bill Gunner for the Egton Law Firm. Have you received one of those mean, nasty notices from the IRS? Are you having a little bit of stress because you're worried about your business and or your personal taxes? Well, if that is the case, don't let it be. Contact the Egton Law Firm today. It all starts with a free consultation. 803-771-9800. Again, that's 803-771-9800. The Egton Law Firm, they understand the challenges you are facing. They've helped thousands of families just like yours navigate the IRS maze, and they do it with proven local solutions. So if you're in Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, Aiken, Augusta, Charleston, Greenville, call the Egton Law Firm today if you're stressed out, if you're staying up at night because you're worried about some tax issues. It is 803-771-9800. Again, call the Egton Law Firm today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Wrapping up Our number 2 with JC Sherbert of thebigspur.com, as we have talked a little signing day, talked a little college football playoff. We'll get back into that playoff here in just a little while, as Andy Staples of On3 Sports putting out there South Carolina as a 10 seed. JC, to follow up on that, he's got South Carolina is the 10 seed. He's got Illinois as the 9 seed. If I told you that Andy Staples has Illinois as the 9 seed and the Florida Gators is the 11 seed, which one of those two teams surprises you more for a way, way, way too early college football playoff prediction?
Probably Florida, just because the schedule. Now, look, I'll be honest. Florida not only has Lagway coming back, their recruiting class ended up being really good. What happened there was everybody thought Napier was getting fired, but they kept recruiting. And once it wasn't the fact that he was getting fired, they flipped a bunch of guys that were, that kind of shows you that coaching instability can still torpedo a recruiting class these days, even with the NIL money. But they got an influx of talent, but their schedule just simply flips. So they go to A&M. They have to go to LSU this year. LSU will be better. It's one of those things. Texas comes. So they still have a tough schedule, and I believe Florida State will not be terrible next year. They'll bounce back. And so, are they going to have enough wins within the SEC to get in? I did notice Andy had 4 SEC teams in, but that means that means next year may be a correction. I thought that, but whereas Illinois, I think they returned a bunch of people. They did have a really good transfer portal class. The revenue share situation helps Illinois because they didn't have a ton of NIL. The laws in Illinois are a little different, kind of cattywampus, and that holds them back a bit. But they have everybody back, and they certainly are a team that I think finds ways to win. And in the Big Ten, they could be that surprise team, kind of like Indiana last year. So I would say Florida just because of the schedule. But, on a neutral field, I think Florida would beat them by a couple of touchdowns.
Cattywampus means something is askew, out of order, or not directly across from something else. Cattywampus.
Yes. My mom grew up in Horry County, kind of on the coast, Preston, like you did.
Mm-hmm.
The northern part of the coast of South Carolina. But
yes, sir.
That's a Martha word that she used when I was a kid. So
great word. It's an awesome word. We just want to make sure everybody knew what it was.
Very good.
Good job.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of info that you can only get here on the early game. Real quick, just a few minutes left, but a lot of discussion, obviously, as it pertains to NIL, but specifically to basketball. JC Sherbert, what can you share with us on NIL funds for basketball, how it was last year? Obviously, this season is not going according to plan. So what information can you share with us as it pertains to basketball and NIL, and anything for what will be the upcoming transfer portal when this season comes to a close?
Well, I think there needs to be a concerted effort to get more. But I've said this before. I'm not going to blame NIL for this season. This season's been a series of unfortunate events. Mainly, a lot of players they were counting on just haven't done well. Cam Scott, you can name a couple of more that, I don't think anybody, when they brought in these players last year, Pringle and then Scott, and the other ones, I don't think anybody kind of thought, hey, well, they won't play well. That said, South Carolina is behind in basketball. Now, football, different story. Baseball, women's, that's all. They're all different buckets. And so I do think, based on the athletic director Jeremiah Donati's comments on your radio station, that is something that will be examined this off season. And with revenue share coming, that's obviously going to be more dollars for that program because it is a revenue sport and all that. But I don't think that's necessarily the reason that things have gone bad. I don't know that there was a point guard out there they could have gone and bought that they liked so much better than Thomas with the way things shook out. Maybe not. And I say bought, I meant like, up the ante to where, the kid comes to South Carolina. I think there's a lot of different issues, including the fact that there's absolutely no margin for error in this league this year. I mean, you look and, a couple of less mistakes in 5 games, and we're talking about are they at 8 or a 9 seed, and what does Lenardi have them at? And we're griping about the net ranking, and that's how close it is. But it's also a situation where they're dead last in the SEC because all the other 15 schools are really good. Programs are really good as well. So basketball, I do think there needs to be more NIL funds, and I believe Garnet Trust and everybody else will get behind it and make it happen. But as of now, as far as that being the problem, no, it's just a problem. And I think that this off season, the good news is in college basketball, you can blow it up and start over and be in the tournament the next year. Look at Missouri. They went 0-19 in the league last year, went out and got some new pieces, and Dennis Gates has that thing heading back to the tournament out in Como. So all is not lost, but this may be a lost season. And I do think that there does need to be a concerted effort to get more funds towards that program from an NIL standpoint.
JC, we always appreciate it. Most importantly, according to Brian Glenn, you have given us the name for our golf team this morning, the Decapitated Bunnies. So we will roll along with that here, but we always appreciate you taking time out to join us.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
JC Shurburtt, thebigspur.com. We roll along, hour 3, live from the Players Club here on Main Street.
Are you tired of dealing with pain, and are you looking for a solution that doesn't involve surgery, drugs, big expenses, or long recovery times? Well, let me tell you about Shockwave Therapy, available now from QC Kinetics. Shockwave Therapy is an evidence-based, non-invasive treatment that stimulates your body's natural healing processes. It works by increasing circulation to the affected area and promoting cellular repair. The best part? There's no surgery, no drugs, and absolutely no downtime. Athletes have trusted this advanced technology for years. Whether recovering from an injury or simply looking to enhance your healing, Shockwave Therapy could be the game-changing solution that you've been waiting for. So schedule your free consultation today. Don't let pain hold you back any longer. Call QC Kinetics now at 803-281-6860. That's 803-281-6860.
So we do have a crash involving a train there, Butt Lane Boulevard at Main Street. So avoid that area if you can for now. Again, that is Butt Lane Boulevard around Main Street. Highway 601 between Leesburg and Screaming Eagle Road. There's been an incident there involving a semi that's rolled over. Highway 6 at Main Street. Also an accident I-20 eastbound before Highway 378. I-77 northbound at Blythewood Road. Also an accident Juniper Springs Road near Two Notch and Broad River Road near Beatty Road. Looking for a high today of 79, 60 tomorrow, 74 on Thursday. Yeah, we just stay in the 70s pretty much through the weekend, mid to upper 70s at that. Maybe some rain coming in Sunday night, but right now sitting at a pretty nice temp. We are at 50.
But we might have to do two of them. I only have one mic, but we can get you the next segment. That's fine. We're rolling along live from the Players Club here, 1626 Main Street in downtown Columbia, as we get ready for the second day, Murray Coleman, the second day of driving down Main Street, the 7th annual event, the United Way of the Midlands, along with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and of course the incredible people here at the Players Club. And we're going to catch up with Trevor Woodleaf here in a few minutes as well, talk more about this great venue. But let's talk about the great event that's been taking place going on so far now, heading into day two.
Yep, we had a great first day. Really excited about day two. We have 35 teams right now. We still have room for a few more. If anybody's interested, they can get to the website. But yeah, it's been great for a great cause. No hole-in-ones as of yet.
Okay.
But the score to beat for you guys is 8 under.
8 under. Preston, how does 8 under sound to you?
Again, I'm still trying to figure out why golf is the only game where the score goes. Having more points means bad things. So 8 under sounds very difficult for me.
Well, as I've said today, the good news for us is that the four of us, and Brian Glenn will be here shortly, and he will add to our fun and entertainment. But we will all four likely be able to play with one golf ball. We should not lose a golf ball at any point today.
Well, it is indoors.
It is. Yes, it's indoors. We will not step on a snake. We will not accidentally drive a golf cart into a pond. We will enjoy our time here, and it's going to be a blast because this is a great venue. And you guys have enjoyed working with the Players Club in years past.
Yes, it's been a great venue, been a great experience for the past 7 years. We've been able to raise, well over $160,000 for support, the Midlands Reading Consortium, our library of services for childhood literacy. And this year hopes to be another great year, and we love having you guys back, to have a little fun, raise a little money, and do some good.
Now, we talked about it, Preston, as I now will try to mention more often, published author that I get to work with each and every morning. But describe a little bit what the Midlands Reading Consortium is and what exactly that does. Obviously, if you look at it, it says to help improve learning in literacy and STEM, STEM, in our community. But give us a little bit more of a breakdown of what that is and what these funds are going for.
So we've partnered with 19 schools in 6 counties throughout the Midlands to have volunteers from the community come in and spend at least 30 minutes with the child in kindergarten, first, second, or third grade, and help them be able to read at literacy. Because we know that if a child is unable to read by 3rd grade, then they're 4 times likely to drop out. So we feel that, it's our duty as, responsible adults and citizens of this community to go in and be there for them, get the teachers some help, get the parents some help. We also have opportunities for guest readers to come in. Occasionally, we have opportunities to give away books like Preston's to the children to help build their own libraries at home. So it's a really great opportunity for the community to come in and help our future leaders, really learn how to read.
And I know, Preston, again, that's something near and dear to your heart because that's something that you and Langston are a big part of.
Yeah, it's absolutely, and it's a win-win situation from everybody. You get a chance to spend time with young people as they're reading. You get a chance to build your speaking fluency as you're trying to read the words on the page. Then you also get a chance to let them build their imaginations with literacy. So it's always a win-win that you can spend time with books, with students, and getting them more reps and more cracks at reading and literacy.
Look at that. How did this become for you and Langston become such an important deal and something that y'all got into so heavily?
Well, it was just the need for, there's always a need for more and more people pouring into our communities, and literacy is the ground level of anything else that you can do with them. So there was a need, and we saw the need to fulfill it. But it's always been something that is important because reading is the foundation. We talk about Joyce Edwards playing the game the right way. Well, reading is the foundation of anything else that they want to do academically, as far as they're concerned. So this is a great spot to start at.
And obviously, when he talks about the foundation, that is again where the Midlands Reading Consortium steps in and really, as you mentioned, trying to get them involved in literacy and understanding everything, getting them reading by third grade.
Mm-hmm. And most recently we've added a STEM component because a lot of the jobs that are coming up, we want our children to be ready for the 21st century. And basically a lot of the jobs that are coming available revolve STEM related type of things. We know everybody's not geared for that 4-year track, so we want to provide these children opportunities not only to learn how to read, but to also to see what really works for them and give them discover that joy of learning at a much younger age.
Joining us now, Trevor Woodleaf with here the Players Club, and we're doing this on the fly. That may work, it may not. This is like hitting a par 3 shot onto an island green. We may hit the green, we may not. Let's test it. But thank you for having us out this morning.
Bill, Preston, thanks for having me.
Move that mic there a little bit. There you go. Yeah.
Bill, Preston, thanks. Glad to be on the show. We're excited to celebrate and host the 7th annual Driving Down Main for the kids golf tournament. The Players Club is an excellent spot to have it, and it's just been a monumental success every year.
You two partnered together. I think this is the second or third year we've had to wake you up at 5 a.m. to get here. I know it's a little bit different for you, but we appreciate you. But talk about y'all's involvement and why it is important for y'all here in downtown, right here on Main Street, to be with such a great foundation like the Midlands United Way.
Yeah, so me and Murray met some years back, and the golf tournament kind of formulated 7 years ago. Started downstairs, and then we moved the Players Club upstairs to more private facilities so that we could have these larger tournaments. And now we're able to host 35, 40 teams and raise a lot of money for the kids.
Now, as far as the Players Club goes, it's 1626 on Main Street here in downtown, and you mentioned it, moving it upstairs. Talk a little bit about the facility here. Phenomenal, beautiful, like I said. Aside from the beautiful furniture that hopefully we don't lose a golf ball under today, because I'm bragging, we're going to play this, and we're going to probably be able to play it with at least 2 golf balls, and we won't lose any. But beautiful facility you got here.
Absolutely. It's 18,000 square foot, 2-floor facility with 8 full swing golf simulators, state-of-the-art golf. Playing indoors is nice, especially during the winter when it's hot during the summer. We're mostly a membership-based group, but from time to time we do outside play. I'd invite anybody that's listening this morning to go to playersclubsc.com and send us an email, mention 1075 the game, and we'll see if we can't get you in for an hour free trial to come check out the facilities.
A lot of this year, golf is a networking sport. That is probably what it is. You go out for some, you talk a little business, and that's a big part of the Players Club, is being able to come in, not just socialize and play golf, but to be able to network and meet with other business leaders around the Midlands or friends and be able to talk a little business while in a nice, fancy indoor environment. You've got a bar and a lounge over there that makes it even more hospitable for business leaders to bring clients in here and enjoy an afternoon.
Absolutely. It we used to brand it as a golf club, but really it's a social club that just happens to have 8 golf simulators. I would say 30-40% of our members have no interest in golf whatsoever. It's just a great meeting space, very high end, and we like to have those clients that just like to come meet, have lunch, and maybe hit some golf balls.
Now, you say that, but I can't help. I noticed on this TV here, far to our right, earlier was showing like the most hole-in-ones by anybody. Now, I couldn't help. It looked like your name. It was spelled the exact same way, so I assumed it was you. Was one of the top 3 for hole-in-ones. So that tells me that you yourself are an avid golfer and pretty good.
Indeed. We have a lot of good golfers that are up here, and we do run a full-fledged indoor golf league at the Players Club, and have some of the best virtual golfers in the country that actually play out of here.
All right. Now, one of the things that gets brought up, and this is really cool, how many golf courses do you have on these simulators? Because that's the one cool thing. We may not travel. We may not have the money. Today we're going to play Spyglass Hill, Pebble Beach. Not everybody has the money to go to California and play Pebble Beach. Not everybody has the money to maybe go to Florida and play one of the elite courses, or to go overseas and play. How many courses do you have, and what's 2 or 3 of your favorite?
So there's 50 world-class courses on the Full Swing software. The Pebble Beach obviously is up there. Sawgrass is up there because of the famous 17th hole. And then there's a course in Cabo called Cuvera, which is a fan favorite around here that has these beautiful vistas and these very intriguing holes that seems to be the fan favorite.
Now, Murray and Trevor, have y'all gotten into the Tomorrow's Golf League? Because Preston and I have started talking about it. I watched last weekend. I actually watched intently, got probably 2 involved on Monday night when you had Rory and Tiger Woods. But I'll start with you. Your thoughts on what you've seen here from, and how much you've been able to watch of the virtual golf, the indoor golf league that now Rory and Tiger has put together.
I have tuned in for all the episodes, mainly because Tomorrow Golf League uses the same simulator technology that we have here at the Players Club. They have the Full Swing technology, and so we're essentially playing the same thing that they're playing, and just on a scaled down version.
So what have you taken away from what you've seen so far?
Well, it kind of seems that the professionals are having a little bit of difficulty hitting on this fancy green that they have and the sand traps, but they're starting to figure it out and starting to shoot better.
Now, one thing I got to ask, I think it would be better. Look, I get it. We're professionals here. You can't do it. But if you give them, like here, you can have a plate of nachos. Y'all have got food here. You can come in, as we mentioned. I say over there, have Tiger and Rory and all those guys. They got to be able to eat a plate of nachos, maybe with jalapenos, while playing the round.
Right, sure. We have an expansive food menu. Hanabi Hibachi and Sushi is below us, and so is the Bistro, and we own both of those restaurants. So we have one of the most expansive menus in the city, and it is harder to play golf when you're eating heavy food, but it's also enjoyable and fun. The same may be said about having an adult beverage.
Yeah.
So,
Very true. And Murray, have you been able to get into Tomorrow's Golf League, or are you too busy right now trying to figure out who the next coach of North Carolina basketball is going to be?
Oh, Bill.
Well, we've been talking about this. We brought it up, and obviously long, proud tradition of North Carolina basketball. But as Preston has said, unfortunately for you, even though we're 0-9 with a losing record in conference, at least we ain't North Carolina, because right now you're in purgatory. You're just good enough that maybe you want to keep Hubert Davis, but maybe it's time to move on.
Well, they call it a season for a reason.
Okay.
We may not have the best start, but, I'm optimistic, just like any of the other Tar Heel faithful are with regards to that. But to your original question about Tomorrow Golf League, I have not been able to see it, but I'm assuming that some of our participants have been watching and taking some hints from that. Now, the cool thing about our event is if you, hit a bat shot or whatever, it's just a push of a button. And that button actually, raises money for the Missouri Consortium. So it's a win-win. So
I'll be raising a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, we've got a full team ready to go. Brian Glenn joining us later on today. He'll play with Jen and myself and Preston. And again, beautiful venue up here. The couches are fantastic.
It really is. I mean, I just look at those couches, man. You just feel like money, man. And then you walk. And the most important thing is that when you walk into the bathroom, they have the prerequisite mouthwash. That's how you know you're in a fancy establishment. And that when I see that, I'm taken care of.
You deserve the best, Preston.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but the best, man.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate y'all having us out. Appreciate being a part of the United Way and working with you for this great foundation and everything that y'all are doing for the community. And Trevor, we appreciate y'all having us up here again. Beautiful venue.
Seriously, beautiful.
and repeat that because I think that's important to know. You guys have similar, but behind me over there on this screen that we're looking at, it's not just golf. There is some soccer. There is some baseball. I see some hockey. It's you for people that maybe don't play golf. Go, well, I'm not going to get into that. You guys do have other like games that can be played on these screens.
Absolutely. So, like I said, this is an 18,000 square foot facility, and it is very premium event space. And it's not just golf. We play football, basketball, baseball, soccer, you name it. The gaming simulators can do it all. So, as far as event space is concerned, we're top of the class in the city.
And we appreciate y'all again having us out this morning. 1626 Main Street. As Trevor said, go to playersclubsc.com for more information. And you can learn a little bit about them. There's memberships up there. There's contact. Again, you mentioned if somebody contacts you and mentions 107.5 The Game,
we're going to give you a free tour,
Right.
maybe some free play. Get you in for an hour.
So get in touch with him. Trevor, Murray, we always appreciate y'all, and we look forward to hanging around with you after our radio show and just trying to break par. Trying to break par. So we will roll along here. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, live again from the Players Club, 1626 Main Street, downtown Columbia. Check them out on the web, playersclubsc.com. Guys, we appreciate it, and we'll catch up with you here in just a little while.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Appreciate
You're
y'all.
listening to The Early Game. Bill Gunner for Old Timey Meat Market. Look, man, you know I love my food. If you listen to this radio program, good Lord, do you know I love a good food. I love a good dinner. And with Old Timey Meat Market, I am guaranteed to get that each and every time because whether it's steaks, chicken, whether it's pork, whether it is incredible seafood, Old Timey Meat Market has me and the Gunner kids taken care of. That's why they get excited this weekend. I don't know what we're going to do just yet, but I know what. I know this. If I go to Old Timey Meat Market, the Lexington store, you might need to go to the St. Andrews Road in Irmo or the South Congaree store. But I know if I go to that Lexington store, the great people there are going to take care of me, and they're going to have some delicious food ready for us to pick out and put on the grill. Do the same. Stop by Old Timey Meat Market today, tomorrow, Thursday. Find what you're looking for. 3 locations, the Lexington store, South Congaree, or the St. Andrews Road store in Irmo. Stop by today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Highway 601 between Leesburg Road and Screaming Eagle Road, an accident there. Also, Highway 6 near Main Street, I-20 eastbound before Highway 378. Also, an accident, I-77 northbound at Blythewood Road, Broad River Road at Beatty Road, Sharp at Old Winnsboro Road, Juniper Springs near Two Notch, and we do have that rollover accident involving a semi, Highway 601 between Leesburg and Screaming Eagle Road. So kind of a lot going on out there this morning. Be careful. Looking for a high today of 79, 70 tomorrow, 74 on Thursday, 51 right now on the early game. Yes.
8:20 again, live on your Tuesday morning, February the 4th, from the Players Club. Visit them on the web, playersclubsc.com, where we are here, Jen, Preston, myself, live at the United Way of the Midlands 7th annual Driving Down Main Golf Indoor Virtual Golf Tournament. We are not outside today. Today actually would be a good day to be outside, I believe. Preston, this is your third year with me doing this, correct?
That is correct.
Third year. Jen, this is your third. This will be your third appearance?
Actually, my second. I was sick last year.
Second.
So.
She was sick last year. I believe this is my fourth appearance down here, and it's always a really good time. And again, thank you to Trevor and the Players Club. Thank you to Murray Coleman and the United Way for having us be a part of this program. And it's really cool. Again, today we will play Spyglass Hill at Pebble Beach. We'll play the back nine. Again, all proceeds going to the United Way's Midlands Reading Consortium to help improve learning in literacy and the STEM, STEM, in our community. So we're going to have a lot of fun here and hanging out. Again, thank you to everybody for being a part of that. We don't have message board mayhem, but Preston, what we do have is trade talk mayhem. Oh, whether it's the NBA, whether it's the NFL, Luka Doncic, De'Aaron Fox, by the way, we didn't really get into that. I'm glad that maybe De'Aaron Fox going to the Spurs kicks Chris Paul out of the league so that Chris Paul will stop tripping or kneeing people in inappropriate places. But now Myles Garrett looked around Cleveland and was like, I don't know if you guys are where I want to be.
Yeah, he looked around and he said, Jameis Winston's going to be my starting quarterback again, possibly this
Possibly.
year.
Now, Jameis asked last night where he should go. Didn't go well.
You look around Cleveland and you see how things have how things have gone with the already questionable decision to sign Deshaun Watson, and then that didn't pay off. Then the team is not losing. They've been losing. He looked around and he said, I think it's time for me to get out of here. And so he's requested a trade. The difference between the NBA and the NFL, though, NFL players don't have as much power as NBA guys to tank a franchise the same way Jimmy Butler's currently trying to do to the Miami Heat. So good luck, Miles. Hopefully they cooperate with you, but the NFL is not the NBA, sir.
Yeah, again, not message board mayhem in this particular segment, sponsored by the Miles Agency, but it is trade mayhem. And Jimmy Butler is another one. It is interesting to see all these kind of things coming together for trades at this point in time because, again, Preston, you just mentioned another good one. Jimmy Butler, and I don't know if I'm kind of confused on what he's trying to do because he basically also just told Golden State, I'm not going to re-sign with you.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler is maybe a little bit delulu, as the kids would say, because he already told them that he's not signing a long-term extension with the Golden State Warriors, and I'm not even sure that the Golden State Warriors were offering a long-term extension. Jimmy Butler's 35, I believe. He's towards the end of his career. He's been injury-prone towards this end. I don't know if anybody's actually looking to sign a long-term extension with Jimmy Butler, so I'm not sure exactly what advice he's getting or if he's taking his own advice. But I'm really curious to see how this plays out.
Another trade that now is looming out there, wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Let's go back to the NFL. Has been informed. I love how you get what you just said. Welcome to the NFL. The Los Angeles Rams have informed Cooper Kupp the team will be seeking to trade him immediately. He announced on Monday. The receiver said the team will be working with him and his family to find the right place to continue competing for a championship.
That's a courtesy that's not usually extended to most people. He's done a lot for that organization, so it's time. The business makes sense that they have to move on from him, and they're going to all try and get to the right spot. But also, Cooper Kupp is expendable because of Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua is there now, and they're like, that was fun, Cooper. We got somebody who's younger, cheaper, and maybe a little bit better than you now.
Cooper Kupp, for those that forget, will be 32. His birthday will be June 15th.
Old man.
30. Yeah, he is. He's aged out of the NFL essentially, unless you're Tom Brady.
Especially at Cooper's position, he plays. Going back to what we talked about with JC, he's kind of the slot-ish guy that depends on a lot of speed and quicks that unfortunately go away as you get older.
32. Yeah. Well, he's 31 right now. He'll be 32 in June. Of course, the true trade mayhem of the week came Saturday night, late in the night. We didn't talk much about this yesterday, but this was kind of a wild experience because, as I said, I was laying there on Saturday night. I'm watching South Carolina, Texas A&M. Austin, my son, was with me. He was kind of watching that as well, but he was also keeping an eye on the Lakers-Knicks. Big game there. Anytime Lakers and Knicks, even if they're not very good, and at least this year they're decent, but we're kind of keeping an eye on that. Go to bed. At about midnight after the game, about 8 hours later, 8 a.m., we wake up and we discover Anthony Davis has been traded. I mean, this came out of the blue. This is true mayhem, and it seems like all of the NBA is astonished at what the Mavericks have done to Luka, despite the fact that Luka, not so much on the health.
Yeah, Luka can take his conditioning more seriously. We all know that. There's that great video of him celebrating last year with the adult beverage in his hand, and the GM comes in and takes it away like, Luka. And everybody said that might have been the start of the end for everybody. But this is huge. This is a blockbuster trade of like maybe we've never seen before, at least not in a very long time. 2 all NBA guys. Luka at the top of his game, AD playing well. This is a really fascinating trade from a basketball standpoint. I'm not sure how much sense it makes from either side. There's a darker, deeper conspiracy criminal link that talks about the sale of the Mavericks and how the Adelsons. There's a lot of stuff that you can read about that, which I think may be some credibility to it. The main reason you know there's some credibility to it is because Mark Cuban, the guy who loves to talk about everything, has been strangely quiet about this. And for everybody saying that Mark Cuban was going to handle, and even though he was going to be able to sell the team, yet still control the basketball operations, I don't think that's happening anymore. I don't think he's in control of the basketball operations.
Because he doesn't have controlling interest now, does he? He's got a more of a minority interest.
Correct. But they spun it as he was still going to be in control of basketball operations.
Yeah, no. Okay.
And if anything we know about Mark Cuban is that he will run his mouth.
Yeah.
He's been strangely quiet.
That's a good point. For the Lakers, I think this is brilliant. Look, you get with Luka and you're like, look, we're going to put some guys around you. You're in Los Angeles, and we're going to make you the start of the team. Luka Doncic will be 26 years old at the end of this month, February 28th. Anthony Davis will be 32 years old at the end of, on March 11th, so almost a month from now. You have, and look, I will tell you this: if you've never watched Luka Doncic, like if you're just like kind of an overweight guy out there playing basketball, that he's a guard version of the Joker. He really is. Like Luka's not exactly out here like wowing you with his athleticism, but he does wow you with his ability to play. And if they can get that under control, I see what the Lakers have done here. They have found the perfect bridge or the perfect scenario to LeBron. We thank you for your time here and for saddling us with Bronny James. But now we've got the LeBron replacement at 26 years of age, and we can get probably 6 to 7 good years out of Luka if we can get him to eat a salad every once in a while.
That's the big if. That's the big if. But even when he was not eating a salad, even when he was quote unquote out of shape, looking at his stats, 28 per game, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. He's a bona fide superstar. And so from a basketball standpoint, doesn't necessarily work with LeBron and Luka as far as their playing styles, but as far as superstardom, I think this is a good move for the Lakers for sure.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Luka, by the way, a career average of 28.6 points per game this year. In 22 games, he was averaging 28.1 points per game. There's a little bit of trade mayhem, not always message board mayhem, trade mayhem. We'll continue to roll along. Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, Bill Gunner live from the Players Club, 1626 Main Street in downtown Columbia. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. All right, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Have you thought of the perfect gift or just, keeping the house clean? One of the two. Let me tell you, I can promise you this. Keeping the house clean for Valentine's, just as important as finding the perfect gift. And with Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning, right now you can take advantage of their Valentine's Day special. Mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and you can get 2 rooms of carpet clean for free when you book 2 rooms for only $119. You heard that right. That's 4 rooms clean for just $119. All you need to do is call Zerorez 803-262-4020 or schedule with ease online, ZerorezColumbia.com. Again, mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and get 2 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 and get 2 rooms for free. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Things are getting a little bit better out there, but still a few accidents to make you aware of. Highway 321 at Old Winnsboro Road, I-77 northbound at Blythewood Road, Harbison at I-26, and still working that earlier tie-up from a rollover accident involving a semi. That's Highway 601 between Leesburg and Screaming Eagle Road. 79 today, going to be lots of sunshine. 70 tomorrow. Or I'm sorry, 60 tomorrow, and then 74 on Thursday. We stay in the 70s throughout the weekend. Then the cooling trend, thanks to Jamie Bradford, will come in next week. But right now, not too shabby, 52 on the early game.
Eight 8:35 as we roll along again live from the Players Club, where we are here for Driving Down Main, the 7th annual indoor virtual golf tournament here for the United Way of the Midlands, benefiting the United Way Midlands Reading Consortium. A great thing to be a part of, and we're always thrilled that we get to come in here and hang out for a day and be a part of this. As I've mentioned, I know reading is very important, especially to Preston, a published author.
Thank you, sir.
You got to continue to promote that, because I feel like of all the things we talk about that you're great at, maybe we should say that more often.
Well, yeah, it is an accomplishment, and we're definitely proud of it for sure. But there's plenty of people and there's plenty of books when you go to our beautiful libraries here, especially in Richland County and Lexington. We have awesome libraries, so you want to take your kids out for a day where they can get out of your hair, as you've noticed what I'm all about. Take them to the library, let them play around, let them read some books, let them take out books. We have an awesome system that you pay for as a taxpayer, so you should use it.
So it's really cool, and glad to have Preston, of course, be a large part of our program, be a part of our program with his background and what he does to promote literacy, to get out and get the kids excited. So we are down here again for the United Way today for Driving Down Main at the Players Club, where, again, you can go and check out more about them, theplayersclubsc.com. And if you mentioned that you heard it here on 107.5 The Game, you can get a tour and maybe a few holes of golf. We are expecting here, it's 8:37, our tee time not far away. We are expecting the arrival of our good buddy, Brian Glenn of the Village Idiot. Brian Glenn is our fourth today, and he is loyal to us, Preston Thorne. He is loyal to us. He is going to be a part of our team. We are going to ask him, maybe make him the official captain of the team today because of what he does. But loyalty in college football, non-existent anymore.
What about all those players switching teams? I mean, listen, man, this has been a thing. This has always been a thing, but it's been more nakedly transactional than it's ever been before. Ohio State won a national championship, finally got over the hump. Everybody got together. You would assume that they'd all be coming back for the repeat. Not the case. Chip Kelly's moving on. The defensive coordinator's moving on. Several players have been fielding offers. And so it just shows you that on every single level, everybody's always got their eye out for the next opportunity.
There's an article out on CBSSports.com, and I'm interested in years to come. This came out yesterday, to hear the background on how this season went down at Ohio State and what took place. Jim Knowles, it is now being reported, basically had enough of Ryan Day. That Ryan Day started getting heavily involved in defensive meetings, basically, as it is said, inserted himself into the meetings more often this season and asked for changes to be made midway through the season. Basically, Knowles had enough.
Well, Jim Knowles was the third wheel. You had the two cute couple in Chip Kelly and Ryan Day, and they were rehashing their old
that's a good point.
History. And so Jim Knowles is sitting around like, hey, I don't have any history. So the way it works is Ryan Day is like, okay, I feel comfortable with Chip. I don't have to worry about the offense. So let me go muddle around in this, and that doesn't work out a lot of times.
He obviously left. That was just his third year at Ohio State, And he bolts out of there after a national championship. And then Chip Kelly, if you didn't hear yesterday, says, I'm going to go back to the NFL. Maybe he looked around and was like, this NIL is a little bit too much. This recruiting is a little bit too much. Let me do what's best for me and just go call some ball plays for Pete Carroll.
But didn't he just do that at UCLA last year? Didn't he just say, oh, the head coaching's too much. I can't win out here at UCLA. Well, let me just call some ball. Chip Kelly doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to be that dude. He just wants to call ball plays under a guy. He's not a head coach. He doesn't like the pressure, and it's fine, Chip. Go make $6 million in the NFL, calling ball plays, and that it's okay. But don't say you want to be the dude when you don't.
Chip Kelly will be 62 right before Thanksgiving. Basically, I think he looked around and was like, I've done about enough. I can go call. He should get a good quarterback with the Raiders. No, not a great quarterback. I don't know. Are they going to trade up? Are they going to hand him? I guess he could still be working.
Oh, yeah. I guess they do have a rookie quarterback coming in.
They're going to have a rookie quarterback. So, but he is heading toward the Raiders. Kind of interesting, though, to see now Ohio State. Preston, earlier we went through some of these projections for the college football playoff. From Andy Staples, he had Ohio State number 5, and what that does mean, he had Oregon at number 1, I believe, or maybe number 2, I can't remember, but he still does not have Ohio State winning the Big Ten championship, and I wonder how much this will change or evolve our way too early in college football playoff predictions.
Well, it predicts that. Does that mean he has them losing to Michigan again? Does that mean what is he? What's Andy Staples trying to tell us?
That would not be good for Ryan Day's health.
So I don't know. I don't know what it means. It's very interesting because I thought that this Ohio State gig was sort of what Chip's way to ride off into the sunset. But in fairness to Chip, nobody really expected the Pete Carroll thing to happen. So it seems like when Pete Carroll got the opportunity, then he probably gave him a call, and the ball gets rolling like that. So I'm not saying
a butterfly flaps its wings in Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's not anything nefarious. I don't know if that opportunity was on the table, but if it comes on the table and you're like, listen, I can do math. 2 million or 6 million. I think I'll take that deal.
803-404-6100 on our live stream. Now, I don't know what happened here. I don't have an answer for this. All I can read is from one of our posters on our live stream. Go to the Game TV Radio on YouTube. How about finding a possum in your washing machine?
Oh, Lord.
We found a frog in the washing machine one time. We ran a bleach load that was back on the farm.
Oh, no.
And so we had a white frog.
Poor
frog. Dear.
Whitish frog. Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Never had a chance.
He did not.
Yeah, possum in the washing machine.
Ugh.
Rough day for the possum.
Well, no kidding. I don't know how you play possum when you're like spinning around.
Yeah, there's a children's book for you.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
That. Possum in the washer, possum in the bedroom, possum in the
If you haven't heard the story, Jen, the family, one of the family dogs, Sophie, being the good dog that she is, ran into a possum outside of the Morse family household and thought this possum doesn't need to be outside in the rain overnight. Probably cold night, maybe a cold night.
It was like early Saturday morning, like 3:00 in the morning.
Sophie and the possum bonded, and Sophie brought the possum in, to which the possum then proceeded to make itself at home in the bedroom at 3 a.m., to which Jen woke up to a possum staring. Now, it could have been worse. You weren't nose to nose. It was thankfully on the floor, though.
It was on the floor, kind of across from the bed. Yeah. So, but it kind of several times, with the mouth wide open, kind of hissing, and they're just. I'm sorry. I know.
We love all God's creatures.
We all love all God's creatures, but it's just not a pretty one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
We will wrap it up from the Players Club with Brian Glenn, the 4th member of our team, who has made a suggestion for the team name based on Jen's story, and then J.C. Sherbert took us down a path in the 7:00 hour with owls and bunnies.
That will not be the topic of a book for Preston.
No, it's one of those new horror films that they're making from like Disney with like all those weird creatures and things happening. Yeah. So 803-404-6100. You're listening to the Early Game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. Well, let me tell you, they think about your roof 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Can you say the same? Can you say that you've woke up this morning thinking about your roof? It's a beautiful day, but you know what? Spring is around the corner. We're going to have those heavy rainstorms come in, maybe some of those spring winds that roll through. And my question to you is your roof ready to handle it? Well, Mid-State Roofing is thinking about that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's why you can give them a phone call at any time, and you'll speak with an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee who's ready to help you or your business with a maintenance contract. Again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Mid-State Roofing is ready to take your phone call. 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. Call Mid-State Roofing. Let them help protect that roof with a maintenance contract today. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. Yep. Wrapping it up from the Players Club, 1626 Main Street downtown here, where it's been a lot of fun this morning. Thank you again to Trevor Woodley for having us here. Thank you to Murray Coleman with the United Way as we were here for the United Ways driving down Main Street, their 7th annual indoor virtual golf tournament, where today we will be playing Spyglass Hill, the back nine of Pebble Beach. And we are excited about that. But again, thank you, the United Way of the Midlands, and all the benefits and proceeds going to the Midlands Reading Consortium today. And that's, again, hosted here today by the Players Club. For more information on them, you can go and check out playersclubsc.com. Tonight, 9 o'clock, it's the professionals. Now, I know we're joined here now by Brian Glenn, but tonight, Preston Thorne, Boston Common, the 9 o'clock tonight, Boston Common Golf against the Los Angeles Golf Club. Keegan Bradley, Roy McIlroy, Adam Scott takes on Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa, and Justin Rose.
Question.
Okay.
Did everybody else play on Sunday too, or just Roy? How many folks played?
Justin Rose was definitely in it. Morikawa, I'm pretty sure, made the cut. He was playing really, really well. I'd have to go back. I believe Adam Scott might have been. I can't say the same for Fleetwood or Bradley. My question is this week, and I don't know if Brian Glenn's ever been to this. Brian Glenn, well-known world traveler, spectator at many a great sporting event. This week is the WM Waste Management Open, which has one of the neatest things in all of sports, which is the stadium hole out in Scottsdale at Phoenix, Arizona. Mm-hmm. Brian Glenn, have you ever been to the WM Waste Management Open?
I have not. I have seen the stadium for TGL, though, which is pretty cool.
You've been there?
Oh, yeah.
Your buddy, we claim him sometimes as our buddy, even though we never get to talk to him. Matt Berry is the official commentator for the TGL.
He is. He's having a great time with it, too. Loves it.
He's done a great job. Now, have you gotten into the TGL?
You would think when one of my closest friends is the announcer.
You've had enough of them. You don't watch. Yeah.
It's good. It's your close friend. You're like,
yeah.
I'll talk.
Like, it's just Matt doing something over there. I watched it the week before Tiger and Rory went at it, and it was interesting. It doesn't translate very well to watching in a bar because you don't get that commentary.
That's true.
I think the commentary with Matt and Marty is brings something to it. So you can't really get that in a bar, which is usually where I find myself.
One thing that's happened that I've noticed is Marty is kind of more off the cuff, like he gets personalities well. These golfers are still trying to come out of their shell. You've got a few of them, but Marty's over there trying to joke with him, and you've got a golfer's like, "Yeah, I gotta go hit a putt, man. Don't need your goofiness right now."
Yeah, trying to crack those eggs has been a little bit of a challenge, I hear.
So is Matt the straight man? Is he trying to be the journalist and keep everybody on? And Marty's, is that what they're doing here?
I don't even know if they know what they're doing.
Okay.
They wanted to do, the people that run it, wanted to do a lot of rehearsal and everything. And finally, Marty and Matt had to tell them, like, listen, you can't rehearse live TV. You just can't.
It's so tonight, 9:00. I was looking to see because this Waste Management Open now last week they played on Monday, so that Rory and some of these guys could get back across the country to be at Pebble Beach. I was trying to glance real quick and see if Rory is playing in the Waste Management or any of these guys. I'd hate that because this is one of the more entertaining tournaments of the year, the Waste Management. And look at this is welcome to the new age of golf. What we're going to do here today is play golf. There's going to be music on the background. We got televisions. We're going to have food here. It's going to be a blast. But one of the things about golf now is the Live kind of has it right. Hey, we're going to play some music. You're going to wear shorts. It's a laid back, fun environment. It's not stuffy and.
Correct. We can take that 1 week a year at Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the one time. So you get a lot of these guys who end up choosing not to play the Waste Management because of the crowd, because of everything that goes on there.
They don't like the raucous nature.
Yes, last year.
Have they got it back under control? I know it kind of went sideways a little bit. The rain delay year, I know it kind of.
Yeah,
that might have been an outlier.
Yeah, I'm kind of glancing real quick to see because number two, that's interesting. If he plays tonight, that says Xander Schauffele and Rory McIlroy are missing the WM Phoenix Open. Schauffele's out, McIlroy's out, Ludwig Oberg out. Those are the big names that are missing it, and that takes away a little bit from it. I want to see Rory out there having beer thrown on him after he misses the green on 16.
Like I said, I'm interested to see how this plays out with them playing so much golf back to back to back. Does it affect what's their real interest? Is Tiger's real interest in actually trying to win, or is he trying to promote the TGL, or like where do you put your real investment?
Tiger and Rory have a lot of money tied up
That's
in
what
TGL.
I'm saying.
I
so
think
what's
if
more
Rory's
beneficial?
missing one, it's going to be something on the tour.
See, I think that's really interesting.
And again, it was in October that the WM Phoenix Open announced changes after fan and safety incidents. So we'll talk more about that. There's your picture of Golf Digest, just guys out there just chugging cups of beer on a 17. So again, we'll keep you updated. We'll talk more about this because it is one of the cooler sporting events. And I think it was 2 years ago. Now Vegas isn't too far from Scottsdale, but I believe it was 2 years ago where there in Phoenix they had the Super Bowl and the Waste Management at the same time, and I understand that was an absolute debauchery. There's a lot of debauchery. Let's just say that. Just about a minute and a half left. You join us today. Your experience. You and I've done this before. It took me a minute to remember. It was downstairs.
I think the first one.
I think we might have played the first one. What do we get from Brian Glenn today?
Well, I haven't swung a club since my shoulder surgery in July, so probably not much.
Not much.
It'll be
on
good.
you to be the captain.
You'll be tightened up. I felt like after I had rotator cuff surgery, my swing was better.
Okay. All right. We got that today. Well, it's been a lot of fun from the Players Club. We'll give you all the updates tomorrow and have Brian Glenn back on. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
Appreciate y'all.
Oh, okay. So he'll do it.
Preston here for our folks at Integrated Media. Listen, we've been trying to tell you all year that you need to get yourself set up, and the spring is rapidly approaching. And where else to spend your spring than outside looking at some games, looking at the baseball games, looking at the basketball games, looking at anything that's coming up. So you can get your outdoors ready with integrated media. You can get Samsung Terrace TVs that are waterproof, outdoor speakers that play TV and music, or Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors.